All right, hello and welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are diving deep into a question that sits at the very heart of modern love, all through the incredible lens of Esther Perel's book, Mating in Captivity. And she kicks things off with a pretty powerful observation.
This quote from D.H. Lawrence, it just hits home, doesn't it? We spend so much energy building these wonderful relationships for love and comfort and security. But why does that very same cozy cage of domestic life so often feel like it's squeezing the life out of desire? And that lands us right at the central question of Perel's work. It's this huge paradox that so many of us feel in long-term relationships. I mean, how in the world do you keep that feeling of longing for someone who's right there every single day? No longer a mystery, but a familiar, wonderful part of your reality. Perel basically argues that modern love asks one person to be everything. We want them to be our steady anchor, keeping us safe and sound. But at the same time, we want them to be this thrilling wave of adventure and excitement. Trying to get both of those things from one person? Well, that's the fundamental challenge we're all facing. Okay, now here's where Perel really flips the script on us. The common wisdom, what we've all been taught, is that more closeness, more sharing, more emotional intimacy, that's the magic recipe for great sex. But what if we've had it backwards this whole time? What if the things we do to build that intimacy are actually, without us even realizing it, killing desire? So let's explore this idea of an intimacy trap. How can the one thing we crave most, that closeness, end up feeling like a cage? To really get it, let's look at one of the stories from her practice, the story of a woman she calls Adele. So you've got Adele, and on paper, her life is pretty much perfect. She loves her husband, Alan. He's a good guy. They have enough money, a healthy kid. By all accounts, everything is just fine. And yet, there's that and yet, isn't there? Something's missing. And you can just feel the confusion in her own words here. She knows she has it good, she's grateful, but there's this quiet hum of dissatisfaction she just can't shake. And what's worse is that she knows she should be happy, which makes that lack of passion feel like some kind of personal failure. And then something happens. It's a small thing, really. They're at a party, and she sees Alan across the room, totally in his element, holding court with his colleagues. For a split second, he's not just her husband. He's this other person, confident, smart, engaging, and for a moment, not entirely hers. And bam, that's it. That's the lightning bolt moment. The gap that was created just by seeing Alan as a separate person, someone with his own world, that's what let the spark of desire jump across. The man she knew inside and out suddenly became, for just an instant, a fascinating stranger again. And this gets to Perel's key concept, what she calls erotic separateness. The way to think about it is like this. Love wants to close the distance between two people, to merge and become one. But desire needs distance. It needs a gap to cross, a little bit of mystery. It's that space between you where all the good stuff, the tension, the anticipation, the longing, can actually live and breathe. Okay, if you thought that was a big idea, buckle up, because this idea of separateness leads to an even more provocative argument. Perel suggests that the very things we hold dear in our modern relationships, fairness, equality, total transparency, might actually be terrible for our sex lives. I mean, just look at this contrast. On one side, you have the rules of a healthy partnership. They're all about being responsible and, politically correct. Equality, compromise, caring for each other. But the language of desire, it's a whole different animal. It can be a little wild, a little selfish, and it often plays with politically incorrect things like power and aggression and breaking the rules. The two just don't speak the same language. And this quote from writer Daphne Markin just nails it. Our fantasies, our erotic minds, they don't care about being fair and democratic. You can't make a checklist for desire. And when we try to scrub away all those messy, unruly parts, we often just sanitize it to death. And if you want to see this in action, just think about what happens when kids enter the picture. For so many of us, the story looks like this. Before kids, there's spontaneity, maybe a little risk. Then kids arrive, and bam, it's all about routine and responsibility.
And from then on, family life is built on predictability and safety.
Yeah, Perel doesn't mince words here. Family life is designed to defend against chaos, against the unexpected. But those are the very things that feed eroticism. And it's this exact conflict that she says can deliver a fatal blow to a couple's romantic life.
Okay, so are we all doomed? Is that it? No, absolutely not. This is where the conversation gets really interesting, shifting from diagnosis to an actual solution. It's all about reclaiming that sense of otherness inside the relationship itself. The whole trick is to flip your thinking. What if your partner's separateness wasn't a threat to your bond, but the very source of its erotic energy? It means letting go of the idea that you need to know everything, that you own every part of them. It means celebrating the fact that they have a rich inner life that's just for them.
Now, this concept of inviting the third can sound a little scary, I know, but stick with me. It's not about inviting another person into your bed. It's about acknowledging that a whole world exists outside of the two of you, and that's a good thing. When you can playfully talk about that outside world, it reinforces the fact that you actively choose each other every day, which is way more powerful than just being together out of habit.
All right, so this brings us to the final and maybe the most crucial shift in thinking. To actually bring desire back, we have to stop treating sex like a chore or a problem we have to fix and start seeing it as a space for freedom and for play.
You know the typical advice you hear, right? When the spark is gone, you're told to schedule sex, communicate better, work on it. But listen to that language. It all sounds like homework. It turns intimacy into just another task on your to-do list, another performance review for your relationship.
And then we have this, the quantification of our sex lives. We get so obsessed with the numbers, right? Defining a sexless marriage like this, worrying if we're hitting our quota for the year. We get so focused on the how many that we completely lose the poetry, the playfulness, the actual feeling of desire. And this is Perel's beautiful alternative. Instead of seeing desire as this broken machine that needs to be fixed, she asks us to see it as a space of freedom. It's not about more work. It's about more play. It's about creating an atmosphere where imagination and a little bit of risk can flourish, all within the safety of the love you've built. So we end with this question, which is really a challenge for all of us. How can you, in your own relationship, bring some of that forbidden energy back home? How can you create a little space for mystery, for separateness, for play? How do you create the conditions for desire? Not by closing the gap completely, but by being brave enough to leave a little space for that spark to jump across. That, right there, is the art of wanting what you already have.